to the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast for all decision makers and action takers. Take it away, Esther.
And welcome back to another episode of the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast. Today we're joined by Ayo Abbas, and we're going to be talking about how marketeers are using AI. Welcome, Ayo.
Hello, how are you both doing?
Doing very well.
Very
It's
good.
fine Monday morning.
Oh.
Don't we just love Mondays?
Mondays are not great ever, are they, really?
Well, they are, because you can start with the podcast. So that's how we
that's such a good
came
idea.
along to brighten up everyone's Monday morning.
Fantastic. I like that.
So AI, hot topic. Loads of people talking about it. Loads of people on two sides of the fences. You either love it or you hate it. What side are marketeers generally on?
Well, interestingly, a lot of people are using it, but they're not necessarily telling people they're using it, which I found was quite interesting. That was one of the most kind of interesting points. So I did a survey in June where I went out and I got, I think, 71 marketeers to respond to a survey, which is only like 7 or 8 questions, of which you did it as well, didn't you, Esther?
I did.
Just asking, how are you using AI? It was basically the gist of it. And I think one of the things that fascinated me was that like 87% of the sample were using it. But then it was like there's an extra 5% who were like, I plan to use it. So most people were using it in some way, shape or form. But then actually when I said, are you happy to be quoted or do you want to be anonymous? Actually, it was almost 50-50. So like that,
really?
For me, I was like, so people are using it. Not sure if they should be saying they're using it, but they are. So for me, I think, you know what I mean? It's really interesting. But the thing for me was that a huge majority of people are using it in some way, shape or form. So yeah.
I can't remember what I said.
Were you please don't say anything.
I'm sure I said, quote me, Ayo.
I think you did actually.
Wait.
I was going for the use cases and I think your name did come up as one of those. So yeah.
Yay. Yes, no, I do like using AI. What about you, Melanie? What would you have said?
I am a bit of a purist when it comes to blog writing, but I love it for ideation. It certainly gives me content ideas all day long, especially when I'm dealing with any mentoring clients or any new customers or anything like that. So yeah, I quite happily say yes, I do use AI, and I in fact encourage people who come into the office to use it as well, because if you don't, you'll be left behind.
Exactly.
Yes. I mean, that was a fascinating part. I think the other thing that I was expecting for the survey was that people will be using it for content creation. That's what everyone always talks about, right? You go on LinkedIn, it's all copy. It's about copy. But
the M dash,
we all talk about it. And certain words, elevate to accelerate or whatever,
Delve.
all of that. Delve, deep dive. We all know all those kind of buzzwords. But what was interesting was actually the biggest use case was research. So I don't know if that's just because my friends are all people who responded are obviously highly intellectual, but it was more a case of they were using it to find information and facts before they started doing a piece of work, which actually is a good use of AI. So yeah, for me, that's the kind of stuff where I'm like, this is just really interesting. So yeah, research. And then after that, it was kind of like an even split between like strategy and planning, content and socials, productivity and admin, which is that whole kind of taking the grunt work away. So yes. Yeah, it was kind of an even split after that. But yeah, research actually came out top, which surprised me as well.
I think what's surprising about that is that a lot of the time we do question whether what AI throws at us is fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the fact that a lot of people are using it for research, I would almost go and double check those sources, because it is something that, even now, like I'm still a Googler. I will still go into, I love my ChatGPT, whatever format you use it in. Mine's called Monica. But it gives me Claude and it gives me ChatGPT. It's got all these different versions in the one platform.
Yeah.
But I will still go to Google and I'll still tell my kids, just Google whatever. I mean, they said to me, how long will it take you to get from point A to point B? Well, you have Google Maps in your phone just as well as I do. I mean, just go and Google it. But Google even brings you up in the top searches now, their AI answers.
Which aren't always correct.
No, but it does have the hyperlinks, though,
yeah,
to the information, apparently. I've never clicked on a hyperlink in that. But that's the thing. How can we be sure that the research done through AI is fact.
I think there are a couple of things you can do. I know that I do, is I would say, where did you source this from? You can ask it and it will tell you. That's one way. Or if you're using a tool like Perplexity, it will list the sources. And one of the things that did come up in the survey was that concern of the hallucinations, the inaccuracies, and general lying. So, well, it's true, right? Some people were like, yeah, they said this about me, and it's so not true. So I think that whole thing around that was a concern. But I think what you can do is put in your safeguards, I need to check this information and not take it as fact. I guess it's doing your due diligence like you would with any tool, right? And if it was a marketing assistant who was your junior, you would go back and check stuff. You weren't going to sit there and go, oh yeah, everything's going to be 100%, because it's not. It's a starter for 10, isn't it? I think that's what a lot of people are using. It's a starter for 10. They don't want to start from a blank page, which makes sense.
See, I think also you can find, wherever you're researching, whether you're using books, newspapers, or AI, or actually going through to the links in particular, a bias.
Yes.
And, you can find a bias for whatever you're researching. I'm married to a market researcher who's, got a psychology degree and talks about bias all the flipping time. It's actually a very boring conversation.
Are you biased against that though?
but I do get his point. And, at the end of the day, we can all find something that will suit our personal bias, no matter where we stand on something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually saw a TikTok recently from a farmer here in Northern Ireland. Love my farmers here.
Is this what you do?
I do.
Farmer's daughter.
I'm a farmer's daughter.
Rather than you're like farm TikTok.
Oh, I am. I'm on Farm Talk all the time. Gotta support them. Farmers, no food, So
I agree with that.
This guy was testing out. He has a science degree. Before becoming a farmer, he went off and got his degree and everything, and all about carbon footprint and the carbon cycle of animals and stuff. Anyway, I digress. But he played ChatGPT and Grok against each other and got two completely different answers.
Wow.
But he was also saying that I think it was the Grok, he really liked Grok for some reason. But in Grok, he was saying you can have a conspiracist and you can have a scientist and you can have all these different variations of the AI model. And obviously, like you were saying about the bias, that will then give you, depending on how you see the world, if you're a conspiracist and you ask a conspiracist AI model what, the question is, it's going to give you what you want to hear. Whereas if you're a scientist and ask the conspiracist, it's going to be complete opposite usually, in that, science says this, but actually,
Yeah.
So is that the personas that you can see in like models like Magi as well, Ayo? Is that because in Magi you can have multiple personas? You can have a marketing intern, you can have a business consultant, you can have all these.
I've not heard of that. No, I've not seen that. No,
MAGAI. It was actually Phil Mershon who put me in touch. And Mike Alton put me in touch with Magi. In the first place, and it's got these built-in personas. It costs a little bit more than ChatGPT, I assume, because of these built-in personas, and it's really quite revelatory because it comes in with all this input, again bias, but it's got all this input in there in the first place, and then you just go and put in your own input, putting in your own brand persona, and then it just continues from there.
But that's quite important though, isn't it? Especially when you look at the news cycle and stuff now, and you wonder, and you're like, actually, if you go down a certain rabbit hole, it's only going to show you stuff that's similar to your beliefs, right? And that's exactly what it is, isn't it? And if you're trying to sell to somebody, their feed or what they see and how they take it will be dependent on what else they're being fed. And it's like, it is, you're right. Bias is a massive thing. But yeah, AI is.
That's why all social media feeds are now being fed by interest.
Yeah.
Rather than anything else. So it's interest-led content more than anything else that is making your For You page.
Which is a concern.
Mm-hmm.
because that just means you're going to get a very, very narrow lens, aren't you?
Yep.
That is the issue. Now, of your 87%
Yeah.
of marketeers who said that they're using AI,
Yeah.
do their clients know they're using AI?
I don't know. That wasn't one of my questions.
Oh.
There's certain things where I'm assuming that some of the people asking, which I think is like 44%, whatever, them asking for saying don't quote me, I think is because they're not necessarily declaring that they're using it. And some of the comments, when you actually start to look at it, it's a bit kind of, I'm doing it for this, blah blah blah, not sure I should share. You know, like I think there's still hesitancy. I don't think people know how to pitch it or how it's going to be received.
Yeah. But I think it's like Melanie said, if you're not using AI, then you're falling behind. It's like
Yeah.
we did a podcast episode recently about which social media platforms you should use. And if we were still like trained on MySpace and Bebo, we'd be out of work by now,
Even now, like years ago.
Exactly. But you have to move with the times. You
Yeah.
have to keep up. So where do you see AI taking marketing and marketeers?
Well, I mean, it's interesting. I did an interview actually this week, and one talking about AI, and it was interesting that they were saying, we're still in the infancy of AI and the speed at which it's changing. So I think for marketers, our role is going to change. I think we're going to be like curating outputs from it and things like that and feed it, and developing strategy. But I think a lot of our grunt work and stuff that, takes time but isn't necessarily appreciated, I do think it's going to take it away, like it or not. Might not be doing those captions anymore. I hate captions, but they're important. All that captions. You can get it to kind of sit there and do all your alt text. Squarespace. The other day I was on it, and it's like, we've now got a new AI tool in Squarespace, and it can do all your. You've got 100 and something missing alt text. We can do that for you. I'm like, this is mad.
Wow.
It can. It literally popped up.
Wow. But okay. I wasn't going to ask about extra costs and stuff for that too, because some people, so AI is making marketers more efficient.
But are you passing that on?
Exactly.
This is it, isn't it? AI is going to change how everybody works and how the world works, not just marketeers.
Yeah.
So
because Melanie and I were at a conference.
Right?
Yeah, Melanie and I were at a conference, and this was brought up from the stage, and we actually looked at each other and went, really? So apparently this guy was saying that because you're using AI, you should be charging less, and you should be like working less hours, so therefore like being more productive and all this here. Like, but at the end of the day, you're just inputting it into AI, and you still have to review it. Even once AI spits out whatever it is, it's still you still have to take the time to review it and go through it. So are you actually with its being in its infancy, is it actually saving you any time?
That is such a question. Is it? Yeah, because you're right. There has to be a quality control in there. And I mean, if you only just have to look at LinkedIn to see that there's so much bad stuff coming out from AI that's AI generated, where people are clearly not even reading anything and just going, yeah, great, stuff out there. And it shows. And I think, there's so much kind of, another thing that came up was that whole kind of concern around kind of brand reputational damage, right? So putting out rubbish. And yeah, you're right. It's kind of like, but that time thing of, so it takes you less time, or supposedly less time. At some point, once you've trained it, it may well take less time. Do you pass that on to clients? Is that you, or do you spend more time on their strategy? I don't know. I think there's going to be new models, isn't there, and new service offerings and new. It might be a case that you build a custom GPT, and actually you train it in the way that you want, and then customers pay you for access to it because it's the best model there is. I don't know. Stuff is going to change.
Yeah, no, I do see your point, but I do think that there is this dilemma that certainly smaller businesses are facing now. If you don't embrace AI like your competitors have, you don't get anything done. You don't get your copy. You don't get suggested methods on how to approach a supplier. You don't get any of these things done, and you slowly disappear into obscurity. And there is also the assumption that everybody out there knows how to write a blog and how to do the copy on a website, and they don't.
They really don't.
No.
They don't. And so, as some people are dyslexic, there's these tools that are now available to everybody. And the fact that you were talking about the alt text there, the amount of time that could save somebody.
Yeah.
And if you're working by yourself on your own, you could spend days doing that and not speaking to clients. So I don't see it as a crime to use AI. I don't. On a personal note, I'm a bit of a purist about the old blogs, but it doesn't mean I don't look at it as a formatting idea and, how many images should I use and what kind of images should I use for this copy? I've done that before. And so, because I can't think of everything all the time, it's certainly especially a time shortage that everybody has these days. I also have a family and friends and people, things I want to do, and not just be entirely consumed by my job all the time. So I'm sorry if I'm admitting it publicly here, but I use AI, and it saves me an enormous amount of time, and it helps me get introductions to people I'd never have the opportunity to. It gives me access to supply contracts or events that I would never have heard of.
Yeah.
Discount codes.
I've not tried that. What do you do?
Oh, hell yeah. It's a very good one for discount codes. So
what's your prompt? Sorry.
we'll talk about it.
Heard this one.
We'll talk about it off recording. And so there's all sorts of things that you can use it for. And I don't think we should feel ashamed about using this tool.
Yeah. But I guess people, what people are worried about though, isn't it? It's that thing of they'll be looked down upon, or it might reduce how people are respecting them. And it's a weird, it feels a bit like shame. It's weird. It feels a bit like shame. But I do think you're absolutely right, though. There's so many things it can speed up for us. Like in the use cases, like some of the stuff that people shared, there was someone she works for an architecture firm. She's one of my friends based in South Africa. And she was saying, we've managed to, they created they use Excel and a custom GPT. And then they've got they can now create all their kind of personalized CVs for different sectors for 150 people really quickly.
Wow.
And that's amazing for bidding, right? So you do a bid for a client. We need a residential CV, right? Here's the whole CV. Can you pull out all the right? That's amazing. And that's just data, isn't it? It's crunching data and knowing how to structure it, right? So I think for stuff like that, you go, actually, that makes a lot of sense. Or for my podcast, I uploaded a number of transcripts, show notes, all of that kind of stuff. Then I created a custom GPT project on Claude. And that means that now when I have my new episode that's coming out on Friday, I download my transcript and then upload that into the project. And then it gives me a first draft of my show notes, of my posts, of my thread, of the key quotes. And then I work from that. And suggest a title, which sometimes actually the last episode had a better title than I had. So
I know, and it's wonderful that it does make you think or rethink some of the things that you think are good titles or good quotes or good, posts to put out. And they're because we take this episode that's recorded on video and I turn them into shorts, and it will give me a ranking on the platform that I use. It gives me a ranking of just how well some shorts will be received compared to others. So it's from 0 to 100. I haven't made it to 100 yet, so must be our content more than anything. But there have been some that are at 94 or an 89, and for me as as human eyes, the difference between an 89 and a 79 isn't that big, as far as I can see.
Yeah.
but I've tested it. I've put them out. I've edited them, taken out the ums and the spaces and the gaps and stuff, because people have a short attention span, and need to get through the short as quickly as possible. And I've thrown them up on YouTube, and the ones that they've quoted me as being 89 or higher have done better than the ones at even 82.
That's
So I'm like,
fascinating.
it's really strange. So I'm like, are you guys talking to each other? Or is YouTube and this app talking to each other, that they're in cahoots about this? I don't know how AIs communicate with each other. That's above my pay grade. But what I was going to ask you about, Ayo, is you said 87% of marketeers are using it. 5% said that they will start to use it.
Then we
What
had
about the other?
so we had 87 are using it. 6% planning too soon. No, which was 7%. So it's 87, 6%, 7%. No.
And what? Not, they're just not going to.
There are people that are anti-AI. I will never touch it with my Adage poll. I'm against it for some of the reasons, stuff like sustainability. Other things were around copyright and those type of issues. It's great stuff. I refuse to use it. So there were people on that kind of, I guess, values led. It's not for me.
I wonder if they talk to Siri or Alexa. Dear, I said her name.
Oh, you said it.
I know there's one in the room. There's one in the room.
It's in everything.
Do they? Because even my TV, my Sky TV, I can ask it to show me whatever program that I want to see. It's like, what? I remember the days where I had to get up and change the channel by myself. Push the button on the TV. Now I don't even have to be in the same room.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't want to use that?
But then there is also that probably people don't realise the amount of things that AI is actually in now.
No, they don't.
And I think if I'm sure that some of these people, if I said, actually, you use Grammarly, don't you? They'll be like, yes, I do. Mm-hmm. Grammarly's got AI in it. It's based on it. So I think people aren't necessarily aware of the amount of things that have got this technology in it and have done even way before ChatGPT. So therefore they are there going, I don't want to use it, but it's like, actually you already are. You might not realise it. So yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to see their face when you tell them.
A beautiful report released. Yes. That would be the thing.
Ayo, I've got a question. Is this the only survey that you're going to be creating, or is there going to be a follow-up survey that's going to be applied to the information you've generated so far?
Well, do you know what? There are a few questions I didn't ask that I kind of wish I did. So, like, for example, a lot of people were saying most people were using Claude. So, at that 87%, the big one, majority one was ChatGPT, and which was what we'd expect. So massively, that's what everyone was using. But then you had like a third of those people were then also using Claude. So like people were using two tools, like the two main tools, and then little smatterings of other things. But I kind of wish I asked which ones do you pay for? Because that is quite an interesting thing, because then you go, because for example, for me, I pay for Claude because I think it writes better content, and that's more of what I use it for, to refine my content and things. Whereas I use the free version of ChatGPT. So, so I kind of think that's one question. Do you know what? I think it might be something I repeat in some way, shape or form every year, just because AI is moving so fast that I reckon the landscape will change, how people are using it will change, all of that. I find it fascinating.
Cool.
I would find it interesting.
You're a nerd.
Do you know what? I can't even deny that. It's like...
Go on, Ayo. Tell us what you do in your real life when you're not making these surveys. How can people get in touch with you?
Well,
learn more about Ayo.
I am a nerd. Lots of people have called me that. I am what I term a built environment marketing consultant. So I actually work with people who design the world around us, so architects, engineers, designers, a lot of highly geeky people. So I talk about concrete bricks, how they make stuff stand up. So yeah, I am a nerd. So yeah, I do their marketing. I love content. I love content creation, podcasting, and all the stuff that you guys love as well. But yeah, that's kind of what I do. Yeah, so marketing strategy, content campaigns, and
where can they reach you? Where's the best place to reach you?
Best place to reach me is actually on LinkedIn. So if you head to Ayo Abbas, which is AYO ABBAS, you can find me there. And actually, if they want to get the survey, they can also get that as well, which is at
Oh, cool.
abbasmarketing.com/AI-report. So that will be there and you can get a copy of it.
And our AI will be doing the show notes.
Fantastic.
Yep, it will.
So we need to, you need to double check the spelling of my name. Always goes wrong.
Yes. Well, he spells it there, so it might pick up. Who knows?
Spells mine wrong as well.
It
and
does
it's
mine all the
done
time.
300
My-
episodes now. So
My business is Stump for some reason. Not Stomp, it's Stump.
Stump.
I always fix it, but sometimes my intern that's doing the corrections don't.
Yeah. You're like, oh, yeah. Thank you.
Oops.
We shall have words. Okay, well, thank you so much, Ayo, for speaking to us today about your survey. Do let us know if you're going to be doing another one. And for the gentle listener, do you have any questions that you think she should add to her survey? Give us some feedback and we'll pass it on to Ayo. Well, that's all the time we have for now, but we'll be back again next week with another podcast. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. I really enjoyed that. I am a geek. Yes.
I love the fact that you're embracing that you're,
Oh
your
my God.
geekiness.
Everyone's like, yeah, no, that's nothing new to me at all. People are like, oh, you like. Yes,
Do you
I
know,
do.
if anybody was listening, if we'd have started recording earlier on, they would never have known just how absolutely nuts you are before we started recording. You were so sensible throughout that. I was almost disappointed.
She held it in well.
Yeah.
I kind of, no, I have read up on this. I have been writing this report. It's proper. But yeah, it's people are always like, you are